But speaking of driving me up a wall, Jim Rice, who I mentioned at the start of this show, he's been with the Red Sox organization since 1971. The dude is an 8-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger Award winner, 3-time home run leader, MVP, is in the Red Sox Hall of Fame, got his number retired, which is sitting in right field, and is the Major League Baseball Hall of Famer as of 2009. So, he's been with the organization since 1971. He's been working with NESN for at least the better part of a decade. And he is at every spring training. He's enjoying himself. He's just kind of sitting back. He's hanging out. And when players come up to him and ask him questions, he'll gladly give his thoughts. You know, he was a hitting coach for the Sox from 95 to 2000. The man's done a lot when it's come to the sport of baseball. So the story came out by Alex Spear as of, what's today, the 12th? So as of Saturday, this report by Alex Spear came out talking about Jim Rice. Because the headline is Jim Rice had a heated conversation with a Red Sox staffer after he offered a hitter advice. Here's what Rice said happened. Now, the fact that it says, here's what Rice said happened, it shouldn't be, here's what Rice said. It should read, here's what happened. Because, no, this is a very simple, cut and dry, black and white story. Rice's story is the right story. Because what's going on with this is, so Jim Rice, who goes on, he's talking about how he's been with the league or been with the Red Sox, and he's talking about his time. He's like, I really do have a role. He's like, I do NESN, working for the studio, and article reads, Rice still enjoys being around the game, the organization that has been a part of his entire adult life. He's forged close relationship with active members on the roster, such as Ortiz. David Ortiz told him once, quote, 4 eyes are better than 2. He's worked with Jackie Bradley Jr., but Rice tries not to impose his thoughts about hitting or the game unless solicited. You know, Jim Rice went on to say, quote, they don't want my expertise, so what do? Keep your mouth shut, you observe. And then when you have the chance to say something, you say it, okay? The occasion contributed, the occasions to contribute, Rice said, are rare, a contrast to his recollection of his baseball upbringing. When he tried to sponge around teammates, former players, and baseball lifers, such as Carl Yastrzemski, Ted Williams, Johnny Pesky, Rax Slater, Eddie Popowski, and Dick Bernardino, quote, I learned a lot from those guys. Just sit there and keep your mouth shut and open your ears, said Rice. Quote, that's the way Freddie Lynn, and I, as rookies, in Winter Haven in 1975. Okay? He learned from the best. He learned not just from the best when it came to hitting. He learned from the man who wrote the book on hitting. Again, all this stuff now are just segments and fragments of what Ted Williams taught and what Ted Williams wrote about when it came to hitting. So, still, right, going back to the article here by Alex Spear, still, Rice said he avoids volunteering his philosophical objections. He recognizes that players' primary instruction can and should come from the full-time hitting and pitching coaches. That's good to know. It's good to understand that, hey, Rice gets it. Jim Rice gets it. Come on now. But last week, Rice said he was watching a young Red Sox player hit indoors. The player approached him for feedback, specifically about drifting forward in the batter's box rather than keeping his hands and body in a properly loaded position to create harder contact. Asked for his thoughts, Rice offered them. And then according to Rice, an unidentified staffer, which, first of all, I want to know who this staffer is. But we'll get to that in just a second. According to Rice, an unidentified staffer intervened, saying the Hall of Famer's advice didn't align with the team's approach. Quote, "It was something I didn't like because I felt like I was disrespected," said Rice. "I didn't throw myself on anyone. I'm sitting down, having a coffee. Nobody's bothering me. Someone comes over and asks me a question. What am I supposed to say? I didn't go and get this kid. I didn't go and bring this kid and say, hit like this. He came over and talked to me." That's where I got ticked off, Rice added. Quote, "I hear the team doesn't want it taught like this. We want to hit the ball in the air and hit it hard." I'm like, quote, "Hey, we weren't talking to you. We were talking. This is our conversation." Rice said he asked the staffer in question whether he'd played and was told no. Rice said, quote, Rice said he responded, "Then you can't talk to me. Look at the video monitor, do what you do, and don't talk to me." Why? Because this unidentified staffer had the balls. I'll give him that. He had the balls to go to a Major League Baseball Hall of Famer, a 2-time Silver Slugger, MVP, 8-time All-Star, who has led the league in home runs 3 separate times, to say, no, that's not how we teach how to hit. You don't know how to hit in today's day and age. This is the problem that I have with nerds. These freaking people, not only, number one, don't know who Jim Rice is, who has been around the Red Sox organization as a player, a coach, and a media analyst for over 50 years. He doesn't know the history of this team, where just, I don't know, look out from your booth, and when you see the field, you see Pesky's pole. Can you tell me who that is? Can you tell me who Johnny Pesky is? Unidentified staffer, or any nerd out there who works for the Boston Red Sox? $5 says you can't. Secondly, when you look out and you see Pesky's pole, what's above that? Oh, you see these random numbers aligned? Do you see a number that's circled there that says 1-4? Do you know why there's no Red Sox wearing number 14 on their jersey? Simple. It's because of that man. That man, Jim Rice. These nerds today do not understand how to play a sport. They think that they can develop this analytical jargon. Look at how the computer says you actually should swing. You should golf the ball and just hit it as hard as you can and get it sky high, rather than what real athletes were taught. And it goes against everything that sports is about. This is why I have a hard time sitting here agreeing with all these people, all these nerds who want to sit there and tell me that expected runs is just as important as runs, that expected batting average is just as important as batting average. You people are out of your mind. That is not how sports are to be played. Okay? Jim Rice is a Hall of Famer. If you work for any sports team in any league and you can't tell me the history of that team, you should be fired on the spot. What's the problem with that? And I'm not talking about the players. I'm talking about the staffers. The people who want to do this type of nonsense work that is all about just plugging numbers into your computer. Just, okay, 2 + 2 is 4. 3 + 3 is 6. And that's how it's going to predict the launch angle and all this nonsense, the spin rate on the baseballs. That's the issue here. And then to make matters worse, you have the chief nerd himself, Craig Breslow, who, yeah, he played. He's a former player, but the way that this man thinks, the way that this man talks, He's not a former player. He doesn't get it because Breslow's comment, this spoke volumes about where not only this team is, but where these nerds are and how they think they're so important to what sports are to be in the future. Breslow texted a quote, "We have a deep respect and admiration for anyone who has put on a major league uniform. As someone who is fortunate to carve out a career in the major leagues, I especially appreciate the challenges players face. Our organization is steeped in history and tradition, and we believe our path to lasting success requires a blend of traditional wisdom plus modern training." The dude didn't even mention Jim Rice by name. It was hey, ChatGPT, how can I make this situation blow over with the most generic statement possible that covers everything that I need to say? That's what that was. That was a computer automated response that no sane human person, no sane being who is a human would write up. If anything, it should have been a massive apology to Jim Rice to say, "Jim, we are so sorry. That is not how we should have treated you. We should have welcomed your wisdom and tried to blend your wisdom with our technology." It should have been something along those lines. But no, he's an automatron. He's a computer. He's a robot, just like all these other nerds all across the sports landscape. Am I generalizing? Yeah, but you know what? I'm also right. So it's absolutely despicable how Jim Rice was treated and how you have former players who, again, it's not like Rice was trying to, and again, I don't know who the player was, but let's just say it's Marcelo Meyer. Jim Rice is not trying to tell Marcelo Meyer, I saw this is what you were doing in practice today. This is what I saw you doing in the cages. No. You're doing it wrong. This is how you do it. No, he's sitting back. He's holding his mug. He's just like, "Yep, okay." "Oh, you want my advice? You want my advice? Oh, okay, yeah, absolutely. I'll glad to give you my advice. Okay, yeah, what you're doing is you're drifting forward, blah, blah, blah." That's what it was. And the fact that the staffer had the cojones on him to sit there and say, "That's not how we teach it, Jim. Don't stop doing that. That's not how we teach it." Like, I am stunned. Absolutely stunned. And again, it just goes to show I'm right. When it comes to these nerds, I'm right. We need to get nerds out of sports and start relying on our past, on the wisdom of the men who played, the knowledge that it came from them. Again, that's what made generations grow and love sports. Like I can't sit there and just it blows my mind. Perfect. My phone died. So maybe that's just a great way, a great segment to move on. But ultimately, again, Jim Rice is 1,000% in the right. The Boston Red Sox, as an organization, and all of their nerds are in the wrong. It is cut and dry. It is black and white. There is no gray in this matter. It's that simple.